What's up, everybody? This is Presley in our next episode of Visual Capital. It's been a while. I've been out of the country. I've been looking at multifamily, like we do every day. I've been underwriting deals, and I have been involved in busy work, productive work. So I haven't gotten a chance to do as many series as I wanted to within the last 3 weeks, but we have so many people lined up. And I spoke to Xavier about 3 weeks ago. So I wanted to welcome everybody back, welcome all of our capital partners. And Xavier, introduce yourself, let us know what you do, and yeah, bring us into your world, sir.
Alrighty. Well, it's a pleasure to be on here, Presley. I have to thank you for giving me a platform to, I guess, spread my message of everybody can do it, right? My name is Xavier Lopez. I am a residential developer, if you will. I primarily only focus on single-family residential ground up, as well as I don't like the term serial entrepreneur, but I would unfortunately fall into that. And then pretty recently, I started getting into the crypto game. Awful trader, but we're learning. So that's pretty much what I do on the day to day.
Okay. So single family and crypto. And last time we talked, you mentioned businesses as well. How are you
Yeah.
doing in that space?
So we're doing well. I'll be completely honest. I primarily focus on any and every service-based business. So it could be, you run a commercial cleaning business, you're wanting to retire, I'll gladly take it off your hands. You have a tow truck company, same thing. We just closed on a trucking company here, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, to start getting into that sort of business. So anything service related, I am deep into it. Just because, well, at the end of the day, everybody needs some sort of service, right?
Yeah.
So these things will never, go out of business. Hopefully, fingers crossed. They're not
Right.
going to get replaced anytime soon by some sort of bot or machines or anything like that. So I like to focus on that.
So you're not afraid, apparently not, but you don't, from what I'm hearing, don't mind necessarily the industry that it's in, long as the business looks good. Tell me more about that. How do you pick and choose? Because it's a million different service businesses.
Correct. So, perfect example, my crowning jewel is my BPO. We took over that in November. As we all know, BPO is just I consider a fancy terminology just for call center, right? So this call center is actually overseas, which actually caught my attention because they cater to both English and Spanish. That's what realistically turned me onto the idea of saying, okay, maybe this would be a profitable buy. At the time, the service center was doing, I think, about 40,000 ish in billables. We're way past that at this point. We provide customer service to tech companies, e-commerce, even some dental offices, credit repair, whatever industry that needs some sort of customer service aspect, we go right ahead and take care of it. We're also able to deploy teams for any sort of tech support, whether it's tier one all the way to tier three. And pretty soon, hopefully, we'll be able to take over another company here pretty soon to be able to add a cybersecurity aspect to it as well. But pretty much, I don't believe I've answered your question. I kind of just went on a little.
How do you find the businesses?
So the last couple of acquisitions, I was just reached out to. Hey, I have this business. Do you know anybody that's willing to invest? Right. I was like, well, tell me more. As you go through it, some things look like good deals, others don't. I'll be completely honest. I'm still don't have that sharp eye for good buys or bad buys. You still get burned at the end of the day. But if it's something you think that you can scale, that, for example, the BPO did not have sales implemented, sales staff, right? That's something easy that can be put in place, and you're going to grow that, right?
Mhm.
As far as for this trunking company that we just took over, we know that they did very little like outreach for new customers. And so it's the same thing. It's just having somebody go out there and do a lot of outreach to bring in more revenue.
How do you underwrite the business? Like, how do you know that, you know, the money makes sense and it's worth buying?
So I like to base it off the people. I know this is a terrible way to underwrite realistically anything because some of these things are expensive, as you know. I base it off the people. You know, the sometimes these entrepreneurs pour their heart and soul into these businesses, and you know, some of them weren't able to recover back from COVID. Unfortunately, that's obviously where I would come in and step in. You know, people run out of capital all the time. Um, so there's realistically no sort of way that I would think like, hey, I need to underwrite this way. I need to underwrite it that way, right? It's a very poor way of answering your question, but I base it off of the person who's running the show because
Okay.
ultimately, for me, I would love to have them stay and continue running the operations, right? Because they would know more about their business than I would.
Right. The Marines actually do that. I seen a couple of videos and they were saying, I think the video specifically was the guy was saying like, hey, for like SEAL Team 6, like the people that went and got Osama, like how do you pick those people? And they were basically saying, you know, you have talent and then you have the human aspect. You know, do they show up on time? Do they give it they all? And they if I remember correctly was saying that they look a little bit more towards the person's character versus talent, because you know talent you can improve on, you know. So that actually makes more sense than I think it would common sense. Because if you meet a person and they seem like they literally did pour their heart into it and they did everything possible and they pulled every resource to get the business off the ground, they're probably not doing anything shady, you know, because this is, you know, their name and their character attached to it. So no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. With this like recent trucking company that we took over, the guy was operating for the last 30 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the recent changes in California legislature, plus um, again, I don't want to get too deep into it. Some like external issues that they ran into, pretty much they just couldn't, you know, keep up with it.
Hmm.
In California right now, I believe they just passed legislation saying, oh, the trucks have to be at least, you know, a minimum of 5 years old. If not, you can't get into the ports.
Really?
Something
5 years
something
old?
along
I
something
mean,
along
even
those
10
lines.
years old is a stretch. I mean, a lot of people cars are older than 10 years old now, you know, because they last so long.
Right. So that does hurt like an industry.
Hmm.
You know, you can't afford, you know, if you're just barely making ends meet, you can't realistically afford to go out and spend $300,000 on a new truck.
Right. Right. What's your thoughts about Tesla, the Tesla semi truck?
I have orders.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is very interesting. Um, I think it's cool. I think it's very cool that they're moving into that sort of logistic business because, I mean, fuel is quite expensive. So if we can, especially now, so if we can cut down another cost to operations, I mean, that's just icing on the cake, right?
Yeah. Have they given you any information since you're kind of a customer already, as far as like
Nothing
release
yet.
dates or anything?
Nothing yet. We put on an initial deposit for 3 trucks.
Okay. That's
So,
cool, man. Yeah, that's it's gonna revolutionize the, if I said that correctly. Um, I was having a conversation, debate, something with somebody else, and they were like, "No, Tesla, you know, they'll take over. It's gonna be about 20 years or something before they can." And I said, if you look at pictures from the early 1900s, they had pictures of horse and carriages. 3 years later, there were cars on the road. And that was when technology was, you know, a lot slower. it doesn't take that long for a technology to, to take over something else, to disrupt, a chain or industry. So yeah, it's coming quick. Are they saying for the Tesla trucks that they expect them to be self-driving, or are you buying them because of the reduced maintenance costs and stuff like that, and you're still going to put a driver in there?
No, so it's actually integrated. It is an option to be self-driven. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So I had a Tesla before. It's definitely kind of a scary feeling to be just completely. Obviously, they say, hey, don't be hands off wheel, but it's like telling a kid, don't touch that. You're gonna
Yeah.
try it out, right?
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I will say that much. And there's already fully self-driving cars as it is. I believe there's a company in Vegas that has self-driving taxis already, so
And
no
San Francisco.
operators.
And San
So
Francisco.
we'll still have a person driving,
Hmm.
just because, well, there still needs to be some sort of human aspect to it.
Yeah.
Uh, but for the most part, I would see it as an additional tool.
Yeah.
Once it does get to the point of like, hey, this can fully self-drive, well, all right, that's an added benefit. Some of the drivers get burnt out, or whatever the case is. There is I guess, a backup system in place.
Yeah. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Yeah, I've been kind of looking into that too. So I'm really asking you more for my personal, and then hopefully the audience gets something out of it as well. For those who are looking at maybe getting into the trucking industry, or maybe getting into Tesla through the trucking industry. Um, so the car that I have, a Mercedes now, and it's self-driving, and it's not good at all. It scares the crap. If I come up on a turn, I know it'll just keep straight. Every now and then it'll turn with the road, but I pretty much only use it if I need to send a text message real quick and the road is straight. So yeah, that alone is like really got me interested in Tesla, besides, the other benefits of it. But yeah, Mercedes got to step their game up. But from what I understand, Tesla is continually learning, whereas Mercedes kind of, whatever package or whatever um, AI that you get with the car, that's kind of what you get. Versus Tesla is always uploading information and downloading and kind of learning every day. So yeah, that is really cool. So I want to go into the real estate part. Explain. So I know you do single family. Kind of explain what you do on that side.
So our focus has always been uh, just construction.
Oh, you cut out, or my speakers cut out, one or the other.
I previously, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Yeah, I previously had gone to school for engineering, so I always had a fix of like, oh, I need to sort of build things up and deconstruct and reconstruct.
Yeah.
So that's one aspect that was, I guess, given to me in the sort of construction aspect. The company itself is called ANX Development, and we started doing it because a friend of mine, my best friend, also now business partner, texted me, hey, do you want to start doing the real estate thing? So we take care of all the aspects. We do spec homes pretty much. We
Mhm.
try to do between 10 to about 30 odd homes per project that we have. So we
That's
take
cool.
care of, I mean, everything. We take in raw land, we develop everything.
So do you do it? So I'm in Texas, as you know, and we have builders like a dime a dozen. So do you
Mhm.
consider yourself a builder, or more, and I don't like to say opportunist, but more investor? I see opportunity to do some, more developments on, or a single family on some land. How would you kind of categorize yourself?
So I definitely would consider myself an investor, because I'm constantly switching to what makes sense based off the market, right? So a new project that we're hopefully going to be able to get off the ground is going to be an industrial project. Why? Well, the industrial sector right now in real estate is really starting to ramp up. So we're gonna not say completely step away from residential, right? But we're gonna be adding on another thing that just makes sense for the market. You know, we're seeing a lot more demand for warehouse space just to begin with. I'm pretty sure you've seen that all over,
Yeah.
at least in
Yeah.
Austin. I know I've seen some stuff like go up in Dallas.
Yeah, it's going. You know what? I don't even like looking at Austin. Austin is so crazy. Prices are so high. And even at the same time, it's still a lot of pockets of good deals. Um, but I can't wrap my brain around the astronomical prices there. I remember I looked at a property and I was underwriting a property at like 10 or 15 million and the asking was like 30 or 40 million. It was something ridiculous. And I called the broker and he laughed. He was like, "Oh yeah, I know a property you're looking at. Yeah, you'll never get that to pencil." I'm like, that should not be your first statement when I call
Right.
the broker. So, but yeah, Austin is really cool. But yeah, I am seeing a lot of spaces like that pop up. Didn't Samsung go to Austin? Was it Austin that they went to?
I think so.
Yeah, Texas is the place to be, man. You might need to come over here from Florida. Florida is hot too, though. Florida's
Um,
really hot.
yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this to you prior, but we had 84 offers on a single
That's
home.
crazy. That's crazy. You should have took 83 of them and said, you know what? I'll just build you. I'll build you the same exact home. Just give me a couple months.
So I mean, things are getting out of hand. Even the funny enough, the reason why we bought the BPL, the call center, was to be able to do mass outreach, right?
Oh wow.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so that's literally the only reason we were able to get sort of these deals, right? I've bought land. I want to say my last acquisition of land was for $8,000 and it was 9 acres, about 20 minutes outside of Vegas.
Okay, hold on. You bought 9 acres
Yeah,
for $8,000.
yeah,
That well, I mean, I have to take in it's a different market and different state because you're roughly 60 grand an acre here in Texas, and around the city.
right.
Wow, that is
So
amazing.
that was secured because of the call center.
Okay.
It was just strictly outreach. I have the call center now with all of our clients has grown to about almost 1,000 now. But I have a set team dedicated to do just real estate outreach for me. I believe I mentioned to you in the past is I'm a very big proponent of the infinite monkey theory, which is, you give a monkey an infinite amount of time and they'll eventually write the words of Shakespeare word for word, right?
Mhm.
So the call center stepped in pretty much, you would say, you have an infinite amount of monkeys. And eventually, not even eventually, one of them will get it right the very first time.
Right, right.
So that's essentially why we put in the acquired the call center, right? We were getting priced out of Florida. I can't compete with a hedge fund.
Right.
So I might as well try to figure out some sort of way we can get this, these deals off market. And so far, since we've gotten the call center, I think we're about 200-ish or so uh, acres that we've acquired off market. Roughly, I want to say about 60 to $50 cents on the dollar.
Wow, that's crazy. How are you doing on a financing, traditional, a mix? What's your go-to for these deals?
So for land, outright buy.
Okay.
Um, we have been fortunate enough to actually be able to be self-funded. We have mixed in everything together. So pretty much we're taking all of the revenue from every single business that we own under our pretty much just our holdings. And
Mhm.
then that gets distributed wherever it needs to be distributed. So if we
Okay.
have, $30 million project coming up, we'll take $30 million from our holding company and deploy that into real estate. If we want to buy out another business, we'll take that money and buy out another business. So
Okay.
I'm a very big proponent of, if you have the money and one hand washes the other, go right ahead and do so.
Right. All right. I want to go back just a little bit because I want to make sure that the audience doesn't miss this. You essentially bought your own virtual assistant company.
Correct.
That's huge. That is huge. And it's a great idea. I don't know if I would go to the lengths of doing that, but you're coming at it from a way different angle, and it makes sense. You actually are okay. You are getting paid to have virtual assistants.
Correct. Because we're able to support other companies in other fields. Um, Essentially, I can say, hey, I need 200 people just to cold call a single state. I can gladly do so. And
Wow.
that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm able to get land for so cheap. Or my business partner likes flipping houses, right? He gets them cheap as well,
Mhm.
and not everybody has that right in place. Not everybody can say, hey, I need 100 people to call for me for 160 hours a month.
Right. Right.
I certainly can. And that's one of the biggest things that have been able to help us continue to grow. Um, if anybody's interested, I'd be more, I'd gladly work something out with some people. I know I've worked with 2 syndicators so far on like a trial period. We deployed 8 agents to each, and they've been able to land some pretty decent properties off market.
Can I be your 8 or 9? Because we need some VAs as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it is a group of 8 that's managed by a person who has been doing this for a long time. He has been with me for the last like 2.5 years, because he would train all of our VAs whenever you would hire them from, Upwork or Fiverr or wherever, right? He would train all of them to pretty much know, hey, is this a good deal for multifamily? Is this a good deal for industrial? Is this a good deal for this? So he has single-handedly trained all of our, I guess, cold callers, if you will, for commercial real estate. So
Wow,
everybody's
that's
trained,
amazing.
everybody's ready to go. There's no like, I need to have training wheels or anything like that. All we would need is just a list to call from. That is
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Everything else is provided, all the software, the dialers, everything else is provided.
Okay. So would you be open to because I'm expecting a lot of syndicators to view this. Would you be open to I wouldn't say permanently because you're kind of already permanently, have your own set of callers, but looking to do this for hire specifically because you're doing it for yourself, but you're kind of doing it for land. You say you have a handful of syndicators, but are you open to like actually start doing this and people give you a call or shoot your email for this other than me?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been discussing it a lot because I'll be honest, while yes, multifamily is absolutely great, it's not really where my heart is at, right? I don't
Mhm,
get any satisfaction from it, right?
mhm.
So I would love to bring on some more syndicators on in. The 2 that we have right now in place were for a trial run. So far, it has been successful. Hence why, it was a trial run to see if the product would actually work. But yeah, we're definitely open to bring in more people, if that's something that they would be interested in, by all means.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So you guys heard it first. Call Xavier. He wants 5% of the GP. You can send me a percentage as well. That's really cool. So before we end it, unless you had anything else you really want to go into detail with, what is a little bit different with you than some of the other individuals I speak to is you have you have a heart for people, like I do. And recently I've been getting yelled at so much for mentoring and coaching and helping individuals at a high level for free, which let me drop in our coaching program that we're about to start next month. But what for the people do you want to leave with them or tell them? Because I know really the reason why you're doing this is to say, hey, you can do this because I can do this. What do you want to tell those people?
You'd be surprised how far you can get once you start believing in yourself, right? Uh, I'm only 27 years old. I'll be 28 in 2 weeks. I'm dreading that day. I don't want to turn 30, right? But you would you would definitely be surprised once you're hyper focused on like, hey, I can do this. I believe in myself, and no matter if nobody else believes in me, at the end of the day, I believe in myself. I am a firm believer that you will succeed, whether it takes 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case is. So long as you keep moving forward, putting one foot in front of the other, you should be fine. You'll be okay. Um, at the end of the day, whether you like the outcome or not, guess what? You're still ahead of everybody else who says, hey, because I'm young, my parents did not believe in my vision, right? So they always doubted me, right? You could have, unfortunately, sometimes your spouse doesn't believe in your vision, right? It's not for them to believe, it's for you to believe. Hence why it's your vision, right? So just continue on believing yourself. It's not easy by any means. Sometimes you'll have a lot more downs than ups, but it all eventually works itself out. Whether you like it or not, it will all work out.
That's amazing. So basically, believe in yourself and have an engineering degree. So it helps a little bit, right? But I totally agree. I see people with talent. It's funny, and I think everybody says this. You see people with talent who only go so far, and then you see the person who is fully confident in themselves with little to no talent, and they just kind of shoot past everybody. So I'm not saying, and I think you're saying the same thing. It's not that you don't need talent, but it's the confidence that you have in yourself and the belief that things will work out if you just keep pushing and keep hustling harder, that you can get your goals. So
Absolutely.
that's cool. That's cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on here. You're more than welcome to come on tonight. What's gonna be? It's nine Eastern for you. It's 8 Central for me. So you're more than welcome to come on for Investors Gallery tonight. I'll be in my art gallery with the metal pieces fall. I don't think they'll hit the ground, but they might pop. So yeah, again, I really appreciate you coming on. It was kind of short notice because I just got back in not too long ago. So yeah, also thanks for coming on short notice as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely been a pleasure. Um, Whenever you need me, I'm always there. I like to be very helpful. Also, I want to touch on another point. Try to help everybody.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people don't realize like everybody needs some sort of help, right? That's I don't know why it just came to me, but like you don't know what problem you could be able to solve for me, and I don't know what problem I could be able to solve for you. And then I
Right.
guess that's a way in for somebody, right?
Right.
But yeah.
I get those messages a lot. Is there anything I can help you with? Who is this? But I do get those messages pretty frequently. I think that is I think it's very significant once you begin having a conversation, because it's weird because that'll be the first thing that they've said. And it's normally through LinkedIn. I'll get that, everybody's hyper business focused and, I got to look corporate professional and, like $1 million. Um, but yeah, I appreciate that. Definitely agree with that. which book is it? I think it's on how to win friends and influence people. Talks specifically about they say help people, but I think they frame it as ask the person about themselves, and it's maybe hitting similar points, but you're allowing the other person to kind of give for you to
Mhm.
receive. So as I'm giving to you, then you say, you know what? Because one also the human psyche now feels indebted. And
Yep.
that's why, when you go some places, they offer you water or food or, tea or something like that, because now your brain is like, okay, well, I got to give them something back. So yeah, that's really cool, man. You can keep dropping them golden nuggets. I'll pick them up. Keep going.
No, I think
um,
they all tapped out.
so reach out to you if they have some land for sale. I'm hearing Florida, Vegas, anywhere else.
So we're primarily building in Florida and actually in Texas. So
Okay.
um, and those markets, anything outside of those markets, it has to make sense for us, right? Because we would need to establish new crews,
Right.
or get some sort of new relationships going. And then if you need, a team deployed, whether you're in e-commerce, we work with e-commerce all the way to credit repair, bank, you know, anything in between that, let me know. I'd be more than happy to accommodate a team for whatever realistically is that you need. And Presley, we'll hook you up with a team as well. Just
Okay.
let me know what you need, and then we'll go forward from there.
So this is the United States of Texas. So which part of Texas do you work in?
So my office is in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
Dallas,
also
Fort
offer.
Worth, kind of anywhere in that area.
So wait, hold on. You were breaking up there.
I said Dallas, Fort Worth, that area is areas that you'll look for land. You'll take land
Yes.
in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, Florida, just the major MSAs, just because, well, those are, the good ones. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. We operate all in the US, at least for every other business that we run. We're, the real estate, only so far right now, Florida and Texas, and maybe we're easing, our feet into Vegas.
Okay. So that's land, kind of single family. Also reach out to you if they have any service industry businesses that they would like to sell. Um, I think that's pretty much it. Real estate, businesses. I feel like I'm missing one. Um,
Well, we do. I do crypto too, but don't give me no
oh
money
yeah, in
for
the
it.
crypto.
I'll lose the money. I already lost a lot, the last couple of like week. So
Wow. And crypto is it's I think because it's so new, it's so volatile and it's so fluid that. So let me ask you this: Is crypto kind of just luck right now, or is
it's a
there a
mix.
level of skill?
Yeah, there definitely is, because I mean I'm very much, I took a traditional investment eye to it, just like, oh, it's just like any other stock. I was completely wrong. Um, so I have, throughout the last couple of days while being here in Miami, I have met 16-year-olds that have made millions of dollars
Wow.
on crypto, but they've spent, the last year and a half learning, about what project is good. Is there some sort of utility? Does it have financing? Is it, VC backed? Whatever the case is. So there is a science to it. So it's definitely something that if somebody spends time and learning, just like with anything, I think you should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, don't take it to. It's not like traditional stocks. It's just super high volatility, and if you don't know what you're doing, I mean, at the end of the day, you will lose. So
Okay.
I I I lost. So from a good
That's
standpoint
good to
there.
know. So call Xavier for businesses and real estate, not crypto.
Yep.
Unless you need to have a heavy loss on your tax statement.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. every Tuesday, as I said earlier, every Tuesday we do Investors Gallery, and this is more for for the audience, but we do Investors Gallery every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central. In the art gallery that I built in my home, and because I was joking with Xavier, we're both having a panel problem. So yeah, I might make it a meme if one of my metal pieces pops during. um, but Investors Gallery is really cool because it's a conversation like this, and it's meant to be a platform with a lot of high level people and a lot of people who are looking to get answers or just kind of curious about stuff. And there's no angle to it. It's just kind of like having a big conference call. So last week or the week before last, we had Bobby Sharma, who is the head of an $80 million fund, real estate fund. Actually, he's in Florida with you. And he was able to, kind of explain how his fund works and, how the returns work, so on and so forth. So yeah, Investors Gallery is pretty cool because you meet people, one, you might not ordinarily get a chance to meet, and two, you might be able to make a connection. So that's for the audience, if you can make it tonight, but we do it every Tuesday. So whatever Tuesday you can make it is great. Also, if you specifically want to come on as kind of like a co-host, because what happens is, one, the size of the audience is always impossible to gauge. Sometimes we have too many people to speak, and then sometimes it's like a handful of people, which is sometimes a little bit better because you can have a lot better conversation. But now we're having like a co-host kind of panelist. So that way I'm not just picking somebody out the audience who is high level, who, I can kind of focus questions to them. So we're going to do a co-host or a co-panelist to kind of team up, because I don't necessarily want it to be all about multifamily. That can be my thing. And if somebody comes on and has a question about that, then, hey, I can answer questions about multifamily. But if we have Xavier on and, they want to know, okay, how do I develop? I would love to get into that. Then, Xavier can answer the question. So yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man, and appreciate you coming on short notice. And I really believe that, the people who are able to see and hear this video will be really blessed by everything that you told them, specifically just them having confidence in themselves. I think sometimes you can get a lot of information, and that helps, in understanding where to go, where the resources are at, and how the train of thought goes. How should I look at this business or these numbers? But if you don't have confidence in doing that, then it kind of falls by the wayside. On the website, where we talk about the coaching coming up, the end of the literature talks about getting information. But if you don't have the knowledge or the wisdom to know when to use the information, then it's kind of lost. I can turn the oven on in the morning, but if I'm not cooking to the afternoon, then
right,
then it doesn't make sense. So, well, cool, man. I appreciate you coming. I will put your information below. This will go on our YouTube channel as well. Feel free to disseminate either, the video, and I'll be chopping it up as well. You can disseminate that and get some more leads and some more businesses from there.
Absolutely. Presley, I really appreciate you having me on. Again, if you need me for anything, let me know. I'm always happy to help anybody at any time.
Oh, I'm be calling you. I'll be calling you about the VAs. All right, man, we'll wrap it up. And I'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
All right.